This telecast of the Channel 10 Challenge, part of 10's 1990 coverage of rugby league, is proudly brought to you by State Bank, Nissan and Goodyear.
Welcome back live on 10 Sports Action. The Workers' Arena in Goulburn on a very sticky afternoon. Bit of cloud about. When the sun comes out, she's pretty warm. Eddie Ward is the man that will be in charge of this quarter-final. And we just stand by now for the national anthem. As you saw from the pictures, I wouldn't like to be trying to make a business in the main street of Goulburn this afternoon. The vantage points right round this Workers' Arena taken. And Eddie Ward signals time on. Both of these teams now with a real chance of some big money in the Challenge Cup. Toole standing deep to bring the ball back. And the penalty comes straight away against Newcastle. Against Scott Carter. So they get the opportunity right at the start here to get out of their own quarter line. Florimo, who picked up our Man of the Match award at Tamworth, gets them nearly 40 metres away. Big clash in the forwards here. Tay Carter, Sargent. And that Peter Sterling mentioned will be taking the Knights forward, and in this case he forces the error from his
golden opportunity for North Sydney anyway. Here's Billy Moore breaking from the scrum and getting that pass back for Florimo, who's unmercifully dumped. Only about 8 metres away now. The Bears with Toole getting very close to the line. Desperation stuff now for Newcastle to try and keep these big North Sydney forwards out. Toole's played it forward. That's a try. North Sydney strike a blow. Tony Ray, the hooker, diving on the ball and scoring the try for North Sydney. Yeah, well, watch this now very carefully as number 10, Adrian Toole, gets up. He ponders for a moment, plays it forward. The ball ricochets off a Newcastle player, and in comes Ray from behind. So it's a fair try as far as I'm concerned. The referee had a good look at it. Now watch it again, played forward, knocked back by a Newcastle player and fallen on by Ray. Fair try, no doubt. Yes, well, we can replay it a number of times and you can see all different angles of it, but one was sufficient to tell me that it was a good try. So Tony Ray picking up the 4 points. And presenting, and there's Adrian Toole, the man who played the ball forward, thinking he might be able to get it himself. Good luck with the North Sydney side on that occasion. There was one slight thing that the referee could have had a look at there, the length of time he took to play the football. There was a, there's a bit of a time lag in these situations. Here's MacArthur from a pretty handy position, makes no mistake. So the Bears shoot to a 6-0 lead over the Newcastle side here at the Workers' Arena.
Temperament that's going on in there at the moment. Things aren't going well for Newcastle at the moment.
Well, they made a mistake a few moments ago. They paid for it. Now Toole standing out amongst the back line. Switch of play quickly on the first. Fulliger out for Soden. So inside the 5 metres is Newcastle. And the winner of this match, of course, will have a real daunting task ahead of them in the semi-final. Take on the winner The match coming up at 5:30, Balmain and Canberra. Successful with his first attempt, John MacArthur. Scott Carter and Stevie Walters have come off for Newcastle. David Mullane and Stevie Fulmer have gone out there. MacArthur winds himself up. Not a problem. It's an excellent lead for the Bears. 8-0 over Newcastle.
Adrian Toole sporting a wound. Soden. Charged down, picked up by Glanville.
Good opportunity now.
Yes, the first real opportunity that the Newcastle side's had. Now it comes to Hagan. Just camped outside the North Sydney quarter. Stewart. Mark Sargent. Back for Fulmer.
The defence is good.
He's moving up very quickly. Stewart again. Not looking as if they're going to break this defence.
No, they haven't made a yard.
And they've used up 5 tackles. Down the blind side with Doyle. Away for Gordon. And Gordon has just run straight around his opposite man to score what looked to be an easy try. But dear oh dear, Kerry Bowstead was made look terrible.
Yes, that unfortunately looked very much like I was playing on the wing there and up against a fellow of Gordon's pace, because he did an in and away but just left Bowstead standing. Beautiful pass there. There's the in and away. He just had sufficient side space to run around him. Look at him, just inches from the sideline. Absolutely beautiful. I feel sorry for Bowstead. When you lose your pace, you lose it. Now look at Gordon, he just stood him up. Now Bowstead made the error of standing inside from the sideline. He should have been standing outside to drive him back inwards. That was the error he made, and not being far enough up. But really, that is well, what can I say? That was a try that shouldn't have been. That was man-for-man marking, and it should have been a dead-set tackle. Anyway.
Well, we saw this fellow in action last week, and he was quite impressive, Ashley Gordon.
Well, I had him down as one of 4 Newcastle players who stood out in that game. I thought that Worth did very well at fullback. Doyle, the centre, improved 50% on what I'd seen of him in the previous era. Ashley Gordon on the wing, I thought he was most impressive. And Mark Sargent, the one that Peter was talking about, I thought he had a fine game. But this boy's got pace, there's no question about that.
Well, they used up 5 tackles and didn't look like breaking the defence, Newcastle, and then suddenly Gordon has produced the try. Now, can he add the extras? He's kicked it and hooking around beautifully. That is a magnificent kick from Ashley Gordon, right from the touchline. And suddenly, the Newcastle side back in it. North's lead 8-6. Doyle getting a pass away, which has been picked up. 5 tackles used up. They're on the quarter now, Newcastle.
Well, that pass looked forward.
And North Sydney caught offside. They're going to take the quick tap. Doyle just barging straight ahead. They're very close to the line again, Newcastle. Dummy half. Getting very close to the line. Is that Worth up in the play? Very, very close to the line. Now Fulmer and Hagan. Hagan takes the tackle. The siren has sounded. Eddie Ward hears it and calls an end to proceedings for this first quarter. So we have a scoreline of North Sydney 8 and Newcastle 6 in a very interesting battle. We're back live here at Goulburn in just a moment.
Terrific crowd here for this first quarter final. North's 8-6 over Newcastle, and Doyle puts it down deep to Bowstead and back for Fairley. Peter Sterling right at the end of that first quarter. That man Jeff Doyle took a quick tap when I thought the option was there, and it should have been taken for goal.
Yes, obviously, I don't know if it was the captain's decision or the coach's decision. He saw something on. I don't know if it was the right move. In retrospect, the 2 points would have been very valuable.
I don't think, Peter, he referred to anyone. He just did it. I was talking about exactly the same thing.
So, 16 tackles. The Knights held the ball in the opposition half. The Bears, just the 4.
Worth work to do to get out of the in-goal area here.
This time Bowstead doesn't make a mistake, and he does the right thing and drags Worth out over the sideline.
Well, of course, that is one of the major errors you can make in rugby league. He did have the ball in the correct arm. He was trying to use the fend, but the impetus of two tacklers coming at him just drove him over the sideline. So the error was all Worth's.
And the Bears deep in the quarter. Fulligan, MacArthur, Doyle's got him, and they lose about 15 metres. French makes it down to the quarter, just about in midfield. Keep working your way through the forwards. David Alexander, Tony Ray. Soden out of dummy half. Smith, quick hands, Fulligan, Florimo, forced back infield by Doyle. And he's taken by Fulmer. And also Stewart. And they're on the last, and they haven't gone anywhere. The bomb goes up. I thought Fulligan was in front of the kicker. I think he got a call from the referee. He was charging upfield, and then he had to stop. So it'll come back to the quarter line. And Stewart just gets the night started forward. He gains a good 10 metres too. Frendo, his first touch as he comes in off his wing. Sargent, what a handful he is. Always makes yards and then unloads, but this time it ends up in the North Sydney hands.
Well, that's always the fate of a ball carrier, a ball using forward. He can have days when he looks good, and he can have days when you look bad by doing exactly the same sort of thing, but the pass gets knocked down at the last second.
Frendo holding a player down, Billy Moore. And the Knights continue to keep on making mistakes inside their own territory. The sun starts to peep out amongst all the clouds. Tony Ray, away for Soden. And Fairley. Come back where they were just a moment ago. Smith. John Allenson brings off the tackle. Interesting, he was a former wing three-quarter playing in the second row. Billy Moore. 11 metres away, the Bears, looking for their second try. Soden, switch. Alexander unloads. Quick hands from Fairley behind Larson. MacArthur has it. Larson goes blindside. Wrapped up 5 metres away on the last tackle. Ray into the in-goal. Will they get out of there? They won't. So it's good play in the end. North will receive possession once more.
I think he's been hurt in the run too. It was number 15 there who came out with it for the Newcastle side, Fulmer, and he's run into the knees of the North Sydney player. He may be, no, he wants to get up. He's pretty...
So we're underway again. Fairly about 35 out. And here's Soden.
Terrible pass from Soden, and he wasn't actually looking there. Just watch him here. See, it ricochets off the side and
Newcastle feed, Newcastle scrum win. And here's the man we're talking about, getting it on now to Gary Worth. Worth with a little bit of room to move. Gordon. Bowstead makes it this time. Hagan. Way to Halen. Back for Hagan again. This is Stewart. Keeping it alive. And Hagan getting it back nicely for Carter. Here's Doyle. Stewart. Back for Halen. Last tackle signal. They ran it from a similar position last time. They go Doyle with his kick through. bouncing awkwardly. MacArthur had to wait for that ball to come down. It took a horror bounce.
Yes, it must have seemed like the clock wouldn't go round there for MacArthur, because he stood and had to wait and cop the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune as they came to him. He had no way of getting out of the way of that charge. Well taken by him, and did the only thing possible.
So it'll be Florimo now from under the post. And this will fall for Glanville, who's made one fine break already. What's the mail on Stevie Fulmer? Still up?
Yeah, it's not too many problems, Graham. He's got a bit of a superficial cut on the forehead. They do expect him to come back into the game. Actually, they asked him to name 2 days of the week with T in it. He said today and tomorrow, so he's all right.
Stevie Walters. Normal footballer's response. Back for Carter. Good play from Hagan. He goes right. Kemp keeping it alive on the inside. Allenson. He stood for a moment. Carter again was on the inside. Tony Kemp straight across the field, steps easily. Well, that's the North Sydney of old. It was too easy. He beat 3 in only about 8 metres.
Yes, they can well congratulate themselves on that one. Here it was, Tony Kemp, just a big round run, that's all. It was almost like the try we saw the other day from the run-around move. He just ran from dummy half in a sort of parabola, scored adjacent to the post. And Graham, you are right in what you've said. That looked like the North Sydney of old. Let's hope it's not. We don't want to ever see that side again. We hope that they were dead and buried. But when a guy like that can just run from 10 metres out and score a try without virtually a hand being laid upon him through what should have been solid defence, one starts to wonder.
Tony Kemp, and the fairness of it, I guess, to North Sydney being that weight of possession told there. 1 from 2 for Gordon, and in this heat it is hard to keep backing up and holding teams out. North Sydney with plenty to ponder after a great start for them, which got them to 8-0 at one stage. The Knights slowly building in confidence now, looking pretty sharp with the football. With 2 more points, and it's the Knights who have the lead by 12 points to 8.
The boys just getting a well-deserved break. Now Scott Carter. Here's Allenson down the blind side. Back for Kemp. Tackle signal against the Knights. Gary Worth puts it down for MacArthur. 3 Newcastle defenders there for him.
Hagan's chasing is good. He really is the difference between these two sides at the moment. He's clever, very clever and smart, and he has the ability to be running in one direction and turn a pass back on the inside without the pass going forward, and that is a skill that not a lot of footballers have got.
10 metres short of halfway. Tony Ray. Soden. Worth back for it. And it's going to go dead. So with the half-time approaching, Newcastle 12, 4-point lead over North Sydney. Back to the quarter line for the restart with Scott Carter. Allenson. Back for Glanville. Now Florimo, I mentioned to you, was injured trying to make a tackle. He's now come off the field. And Kelly Egan has gone on for North Sydney. And here's a Newcastle penalty.
Player there lying partially in the way. One of the North Sydney players was in the area where the dummy half had to operate, and he was in the way. simple.
This interchange rule being utilised by both coaches. Allinson's come off the field. Stewart's gone back for Newcastle. Halen. I don't know what happened then. The referee Wall was going to stop play for a moment. Hagen now inside the corner. Less than 60 seconds remaining into half-time as Newcastle probe for an opening in the lane. Hagen again, showing it either way. Doyle's gone without it. And a knock on from both sides.
Yes, well, there was the pass back on the inside from Hagen. It was perfectly delivered, but knocked out of the hands there of Doyle. And they're the sort of things that make Hagen stand out from the crowd.
Soden works a scrum for North Sydney. Again, having trouble getting that scrum set. Inside their own quarter, the North Sydney Bears. As the half-time siren sounds, Eddie Ward signals an end to the first half of football. And so we go to the break with Newcastle leading North Sydney 12-8. We're back live from Goulburn in just a moment.
So we've got 2 quarters to go. MacArthur. Down for Tony Kemp. Only 98 tackles for Newcastle. Stewart leading the way on 14, along with Harrigan. And North's 106, Billy Moore and Tony Ray. Well, a great deal in it. But towards the end of that second quarter, starting to stamp their authority was Newcastle. Stewart. Worth. Bounces badly for John MacArthur, but it will be too strong and he'll get a chance to come back to the 22 anyway. General manager of the Rugby League, John Quayle, looks on from in the stand.
Billy Moore is the dummy half. Fulliger and Martin. Well, the Newcastle side have committed 11 handling errors. The Bears 7. As Fulliger kicks through, referee Ward waiting to see what eventuates, and now he's going to give the penalty as the young man was knocked flat after kicking through.
Yes, watching here, Fulliger, he's given the well, the back treatment by number 3 there, Glenn Miller. I think he was probably backing towards him too. Certainly the opposition players in that situation, when somebody kicks over the head, don't have to get out of the way, but they can't impede the opposition either.
So MacArthur is presented with a fairly straightforward shot for goal. He's only missed the one. He's about in line with the right hand upright, and he's back about 24 metres. And MacArthur's shot is fine, no problem. So the Bears claw back. Newcastle still lead by 2, 12-10.
Stevie Fulmer, who took that heavy knock early in the match, is back sideline. This quarter-final well and truly up for grabs. Kelly Egan. 14 missed tackles against North Sydney. They're lucky that they haven't been made to pay for it any more on the scoreline. Soden. Worth. It's away from French. It finally comes again. Doyle. Miller. He's not looking for the ball because there hasn't been too many opportunities come out wide for him. Halen. Stewart. They're on their last tackle. And Worth with the kick off the side of the foot, but will still find touch. A good kick. Wasn't the one he was looking for. A couple of replacements going out there for the Knights. Allenson and Glanville. Halen has left the field. Scott Carter just giving some instructions there to the front row. Out quickly for the Bears. Martin. MacArthur. Back for Thompson. Soden. Big tackle. David Mullane on Billy Moore. Tony Ray. Both sides finding it difficult to get something started. Martin. That's the sort of thing to break it up, the little chip, but it bounces nicely for the Knights and into the arms of Tony Kemp. Carter.
Needs to be a little careful of the way he used his feet in the tackle there. He was tackled and Martin was hanging onto his legs and he virtually kicked him off. Let the referee adjudicate on those things when you're being held down too long.
Landrell. Ball away for Allenson. He steps nicely. In turn, he gets the ball back for Harrigan. Much better passing and support play, Gordon. Can't get away from Bowstead. The pass back infield. Eventually it goes over the touchline.
Just the 2 points in it. The Knights have it at the moment. Former who was injured earlier back on. Now Hagan. Glanville across field. Now Gary Worth was looking for Stewart, but he'd overrun the pass, so Gary Worth had to take the tackle on his own. And back for Miller. Doyle. Now Worth with this one. MacArthur's there for it. No pressure for him. Brings it back to the quarter. Three-quarter time fast approaching. Tony Ray. And this kick, one bounce and stood up for Gordon, and they get the penalty. Florimo offside up in front of the kicker and not allowing Gordon any room. As the three-quarter time siren sounds, the penalty has been awarded.
And I think he must have made some remark like you're blind or your mother and father weren't very nice people or something like that, because the referee Ward called him back and told him again that not only was he offside, but he should shut up.
Newcastle player Doyle it was who was tackled without the football. Gordon's picked it up and the referee's picked it up too. The referee spotted that. There is a penalty. There is a penalty given to Newcastle. Doyle, following that kick through, was hit late.
Yeah, so we could just see that. Les Doyle, base over apex on the right-hand side of the field behind the play. The penalty will be taken by Ashley Gordon, who's kicked a couple.
Yeah, 2 from 3, including a magnificent one from the touchline.
Yes, that was a dream kick.
This one is, he looks to be about 9 metres in from touch.
Is he kicking into the wind, Sterlo?
Yeah, I think it will make the distance. The wind seems to have died down a little bit now, so if he hits it well, it should make the distance. And it's going to fall short and wide in any case.
place. Billy Moore takes it for the Bears. Tackle is made, and that is the end of the section. The three-quarter time. It's Newcastle 12, Norths 10. We'll be back live here at Goulburn in just a moment.
Goodyear, associate sponsor of the Channel 10 Challenge, hopes you are enjoying this telecast.
Welcome back. Revenge on the mind of the Tigers as they think about the grand final of 1989. They get their chance against Canberra today. The second of our double headers at 5:30. This first quarter final, though, Newcastle 12 lead Norths 10. And both these sides struggled in the third quarter. But the big crowd are here, anxiously awaiting that Balmain-Canberra clash. And this final 20 minutes to see if one side can climb into a semi-final position. Frendo. Bounced out of one, but taken by Jason Martin in the second. Worth. Stewart. Who's played well on the second row for Newcastle today. Down the blind side for Glanville. They get 40 out on the last tackle. Worth beats Martin and gets his kick in well. Down for MacArthur, who has Thompson in support. He slips and Hagan takes him. I just wonder, Peter Sterling, if maybe the short chip is going to be on early tackles in this last quarter.
I think it'll be on more so for the North Sydney side. You see that Steve Walters and Fulmer would like to play up in the line. Mark Soden generally back in defence, so certainly much more an alternative for the Bears.
Adrian Toole. Had some stitches to eye cut from early in the match. French. Charged down by Carter. This will be 6 more for the Bears. Martin has it. So some more work coming up in the defensive department for the Knights. Tony Ray out of one. Taken by Mullane. They get down 40 away from the Newcastle line. Soden. Martin. In behind Doyle, who had moved up too quickly. He was taken high by Walters. The penalty against him.
Yes, watch this great run by Martin. He's made the opening. There was the stiff arm virtually swinging up. We'll probably see it a little better on this occasion coming up. Yes, not a good one, not a pretty one. And I would have thought that there might have been some action taken.
Well, Walters is leaving the field. I didn't catch the signal from the referee. Now, Peter Sterling, was it a sin bin or a send-off?
Mate, we're just about to find out now. It looks as though Fulmer's going on. Mate, we'll just check on that.
Well, Fulmer will have to go on, but another player will still have to leave the field.
Yes, they'll have to play a man short if he has in effect been sent off for 5 or 10 minutes or sent off completely.
It was a line ball. I tell you that he was very, very close. Well, we have had it from the sideline that he has been sent from the field.
Well, I'm quite happy about that in the sense of the justice appearing to be done.
Well, he can't sit there. If he's been sent from the field, he's got to go inside. He has to leave the field of play. Now he's being told that you can't sit on the bench. You've got a date with the judiciary. Rugby league official just in shot. Eric Cox was the man who tapped on his shoulder. So, sensation here for the Knights. MacArthur. He misses the attempt, so they don't pay for it in points. They lead still 12 points to 10, but they are down to 12 men, the Knights.
Well, we probably needed something like that to get this game from a a state in which we've all subsided into. I mean, just as in life, all things can't be bright and beautiful all the time. All rugby league games can't be bright and beautiful. This has been a very ordinary rugby league game played in a very dull fashion by the most of the players out there. One or two have stood out, but in the main it's been a pretty dull performance. I'm very disappointed with the attitude of both teams too.
Down to the business end now, so they have to get something started fairly. Times North have continued to run one out in the forwards. Soden kicked down away from Worth. Florimo is on the chase. Worth will win the race to the football, and he is going to, I thought he was going to try and run it dead. Does he get back into the field of play? He doesn't. So North's now with some momentum at last.
Yeah, Florimo's covering there was excellent. He's the principal means of getting him into the end goal. He made the initial tackle, got their hands on him and pulled him back into the end goal area. Fair enough too. That was a good chase. Not a bad kick, well positioned.
There's about 15 minutes of the game left. And Worth with the restart from underneath the post. Down from MacArthur. Scoreline is familiar. It is. North beat Manly by the same score, 12-10. Here's Soden. Ray's gone into dummy half. He given it away to French. French crunched by Sargent.
Yeah, it's a good tackle. Good strong head-on stuff.
Soden. Now Martin. Chip and chase, but it's been snapped up by Newcastle. Fulmer was there for it.
Yes, the kick is a very good tactic. The little chip kick is a good tactic if you don't have the halfback standing behind the line. But unfortunately, it's just an easy way of giving the ball back to the opposition if it's not well executed.
Now the Knights desperately trying to get out of this area. Stewart. Like breaking the defensive line though, these Newcastle forwards today. Worth's kick down again from MacArthur. MacArthur brings it back to the corner.
Yeah, it's a good surge there. He got between two of the Newcastle players and got about another 8 metres.
You'll recall in the North's Manly game, it was a late try by Greg Florimo that really wrapped the game up for them. But Peter Sterling, he's been a little quiet today.
A little quiet in defence, Ian. I'd like to see him take a leaf out of Jeff Doyle's book, maybe try and get a little bit involved on the fringe of the ruck. Certainly one of their more experienced players and one of their hardest ball runners. He may be the man that could crack this defence.
And again, the extra troops being taken on the field, a couple more leaving. Down the blind side. And Newcastle getting themselves up into a very good position as Stewart reaches the quarter line. Hagan getting it back for the lock forward Glanville. Florimo involved in that tackle. Now across for Kemp. Sargent straight ahead and turning the football, but it's gone loose. North Sydney will come up with it. It's been pretty much the story of this game as MacArthur makes a good break and got it back for Martin. Both sides just not able to finish promising movements off. Ray. Just 5 metres from halfway. Soden sends Worth back and finds Against touch. Very close to the line.
Yes, a perfect kick, that one, end over end, very low trajectory. No chance of anyone getting to it, and it just rolled over, would have continued rolling up the main street. I think it was very well and strongly struck. It's a good game there. It's got him right into the corner.
Full with the work this ground for Newcastle. And with the feed. Out to the quarter. One more again. Now Sargent. I've used up 5. Back for Worth. Bowstead has MacArthur with him.
MacArthur takes his turn out of dummy half. Peter Sterling down to 12 men. Newcastle, the simple tactics of how they should try and get this ball out wide, North.
Well, North's got to make sure that they don't fall into the trap of going too wide too early. They've got a penalty here. You really got to take the yards up the middle before you fan wide. I am surprised that Newcastle are persevering with 2 markers. That certainly does give you a chance out wide.
Well, Florimo virtually running into the opposition there, but they were way...
Well, here's a chance now, Bowstead, 10 metres away, Norths. Is it a semi-final berth for them? They have to do it right now. Soden. The Newcastle 12. It is desperate stakes for them. Florimo. Martin. Almost comes to a full stop. Ray. Billy Moore. Cut out pass. He cut Egan out. If it had been a good ball for Thompson, he would have scored in the corner. It was at his feet.
Yes, with a great misfortune for Moore there. The pass looked a touch forward too, but very low, directed around about the knees and way in front of the intending player, Thompson. So that's an opportunity gone begging.
No one's away the field. No one in the field at the end of the game. Thank you.
Never even got close to going to the middle, that one from Stevie Fulmer. Now, against the feed. It might be Tony Ray who could end up the hero here. Now, are they going to take the kick? We could be forced to extra time. There is about 8 minutes of play remaining.
I think they would have to take the kick.
I can't believe that they'd be arguing any point about it. MacArthur. His kicks have been in and around this area most of the day. He hasn't wasted too much time about it. He's not going to bring it around enough. So another let off. 12-10 the Knights over the Bears. So Johnny Bailey isn't the only coach pulling his hair out about a specialist goal kicker. Worth. Thompson. Taken by Mullane and Fulmer. The Knights need a big set of 6 tackles to try and keep the Bears here. Fairley away for Ray. Billy Moore for Alexander. He runs strongly on the fringe of the ruck. Soden. They go wide. French. Florimo getting a little bit more involved now. Showed the ball well. The gap just opened for a second. Soden, last tackle, stepping, beats 2, unloads for Martin. Alexander wrapped up by Doyle. Good tackle from him to put paid to their 6.
Yes, excellent tackle from Doyle on that occasion. If he'd got the pass away up to the outside backs there would have been a bit of hell to play for Newcastle.
Allenson, as the Knights hang on with just 12 men. Harrigan is back out there. Needs some sharp running from dummy half, maybe from Fulmer. Some of the backs, Doyle. A lucky pass in the end, and they give it up inside their own territory. Soden. Martin, the little men, starting to do a lot of running. About 6.5 minutes to go. Soden looking for a runner, urging them to go up with him. Fairley. Long play the ball. French. He comes close to the ruck. Smith goes back for it. It is 12-10. Newcastle over Norths. Change of play. Fairley. Florimo on the inside. Florimo in Worth. Florimo wins through MacArthur. Peter Sterling called it that Florimo's got to get involved. He did just that, and it is rather timely. Right under the post. The Bears could have it now.
Yes, a great bit of football. Ray started it, gave it out to the right, got the switchback ball coming back to the Wade passed it from. Back on the inside there to Florimo. Pushed off a Knights defender with the greatest of ease. Took Worth out of it. Got it back inside to MacArthur. And MacArthur goes underneath the post to make it a very simple, hopefully for him, conversion. Now the pass originally went to the right. It's come back to the left. The pass back on the inside to Florimo was a neat run. And then on to MacArthur, who was just out of the range of the defender, who dived very strongly. There's a good try.
MacArthur will attempt to convert his own try from right in front. He did well to trail Florimo through. And Stevie Martin has managed to script 2 great escapes now. If this is going to be a victory for them, there will only be about 4 minutes or so left for the Knights. 2 more points from MacArthur, and Newcastle now behind by 4.
And with plenty of work to do in the remaining 4 minutes or so. Remind you, they're a man short. It seemed that it seemed strange that Newcastle were able to hang on to that lead for as long as they did, because for the last 15 or 20 minutes or so, North Sydney have really been in control without actually scoring. And now they're in front.
When looking through the North Sydney side for an outstanding player, it's very difficult because not many players have stood out. Florimo stood out in patches. Alexander stood out in patches. Mark Soden's had some good moments, but they're precious few and far between. But when we start to look at the actual way the game's gone, and you start to look at the fact of MacArthur having 4 goals and a try, it'll be difficult to have a man of the match award given and not include him.
Now Alexander with a good run up to halfway.
He's been a good forward.
Here's Soden on the 6th tackle. Frendo. It really will require a mammoth effort now from Newcastle. And to be honest, they haven't looked like making too many breaks. Fulmer. Now here's Doyle. In the first 20 minutes or so, Doyle was the one who always looked threatening. Fulmer and Stewart. Back to Sargent. And passing it straight to Soden. And Soden very nearly found himself in the clear.
Got a hell of a shock to get that ball thrown to him.
It looked exactly that way, didn't it? You could almost hear him say, "Here you have it." Tony Ray. Just outside the Newcastle quarter. Gary Smith. Again, Tony Ray. Last tackle signalled against North Sydney. Back for Martin. Fairley, with less than 60 seconds remaining, Fairley gets to within 10 metres of the line. And that's a turnover. So with less than 60 seconds, Newcastle need a miracle. Hagan, Doyle, Gordon throwing over his head anywhere, but he went over the touchline.
Desperation Stokes. Here he goes, just close to the, about to run over the sideline and threw it in. They used to have a move on one of the kangaroo tours that I was on called Oranges. And that was throwing the ball back over your head.
Well, only seconds remaining. They might not even have time to put the scrum down. Soden's just worked it. Now Martin threads his way through the defence to the quarter line. And there is the siren now. And referee Ward signals an end to proceedings. So the Bears are through to the semi-finals. Steve Martin receives congratulations. And the final score, 16-12. North Sydney, 2 tries apiece. The difference in the goal kicking, MacArthur 4 and Gordon only kicked 2. Back shortly, live at Goulburn for our man of the match.